from Bolt Graphics. They have
Bolt, yeah, traditional Bolt GPU. Yeah, the name you can trust, reliable.
It's a Bolt Action GPU. It doesn't jam like one of those automatic.
And thank you. Welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Ben, that's Jordan, that's Sandy, together with you, Shot Realm Dynamic, joining us live, helping us form, Cocaine Voltron. So, Jordan, or as I was calling him earlier this week, literally Satan, had made a suggestion for a project I'm working on for a particular game to try. Called Curse of the Raven's Cry. Does it run?
Were there bird tears?
Yes, there was absolutely nothing, which made me investigate further. Not only does this game, didn't expect it to run on ARM using Box64, but I fucking said I'd try it, so I tried it. Already had that bullshit downloaded. I'm like, fine. Let me see if it launches. Does the native Linux client work? Doesn't fucking launch. Does it launch with Proton? Doesn't launch with Proton either. The game's unplayable. I wonder if it even runs under Windows at this point.
I don't know, because like that was like a problem with like Windows apps moving from 10 to 11 is some just like stop working.
Oh, dude. Like I was going to try it like outside of Steam, but it's like tied into Steam, so there's no way to like get into it. Yeah.
Well, like I mean, it's the expected outcome, right? Like on the fucking like 0.0001 chance that you can actually like play Curse of the Raven's Cry.
Yeah, but part of me wanted to do it because I needed a video for the outro on this, and I wanted to be having a serious conversation as I was trying to like fight like one of those jacked up leopards or monkeys. Or whatever, yeah, like they're just randomly through it. Like they look so out of fucking. They look like we'd put them in the game. Like they're terrifying. But yeah, I'm working on that. That's almost wrapped up. I gotta spit some mad fire on my disk track and put that together with other things I got recorded. And we'll have a nice little guide for Armbian for those of you with rock chips wanting to fuck around with Steam, because that's kind of what it is. It's a fuck around, have fun, play around, experiment that you'll be able to do at home. Jordan, baby, what's going on, man?
I went to a comic book store for the first time in a couple weeks. I've actually been to the comic. I fairly regularly patronize that comic book store now, just because it's the local one. I actually picked up some comic books for the first time in a little while. I was talking about that in the pre super shows, and reading the first issue of the new question series. I am incredibly lost, and hopefully there will be some clarity as the series goes on. I got 3 more issues to go.
Outside of like DBZ, is there like any series that you've like bucket listed? You like one day?
I got about halfway through Y the Last Man before I got sidetracked, and that was one that I wanted to finish. Although I've heard that one, like if you read that today, it does not age as well.
Yeah.
I think they're putting out like they recently started running Saga again. That was one that I really enjoyed.
All right.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, I would love to go through and like read all the old like Chris Claremont X-Men's, or like go through like some of like the old original runs of like Superman or something. Back when it was like weird and they had no fucking clue what the hell was going on. It was like,
it's not as like rigid and structured as it is today.
Yeah. Well, back when Superman was kind of like a crazy person who would just like do shit, and then when people ask him, I was like, "What are you gonna do? Stop me? I'm fucking Superman."
Yep.
Yeah, but like all the shit he's doing is ultimately like super harmless and petty and dumb. But it's just like I kind of miss insane Superman.
Well, you say that, and I'm unfamiliar with it, and I'm like, yeah, I would watch the Adventures of Petty Superman. Sandy, what's going on, man? You back?
Nothing, man. Just living the dream.
Good?
Working on the bathroom still, got the sink ripped out. Defusing situations between daughter and mother outside of that,
That's fun. Sounds relaxing. Strange hobby.
It took me like 4 days of it, but nothing stressful at all.
None, man. Dude, Fortunately, the horse does not have a fuse to be defused. What? Well, could you refuse it?
You could refuse it. You could fuse it with like some sort of like lycanthrope. We'll get to that in a little bit. But until then, you must endure the steam analytics update of the week.
That's what it says right there.
Nay.
Yeah.
Underworld was a really good movie.
Underworld was like straight up everything I needed because it was like The Matrix, but with more leather and BDSM type shit.
Could it use more hedgehogs though?
Yep. This is true. Hopefully we're still not echoing. Let us know in chat. This is kind of strange. I'm a little bit scared because we're about to go into the Steam news, and yeah, we got some new games, but they're not all Steam related. We don't have any actual, this in recent memory, just straight Steam news for you this week, which made me sit back and think. No, I went and checked the Steam blog, and I'm like, there was like two little teensy little minor updates to SteamOS for your Steam Deck. But even those, they were like just one-liners. What you up to, Valve? Why are you being so quiet? Is that Deckard about to come out with the exclusive Half-Life 3? Is that the plan? Is that what you got going on?
Artifact 2 in VR.
Artifact 2.
Oh God. No.
Dude, no, like, dude, honestly, if they could, like, do the Yu-Gi-Oh thing where you could, like, play the card game and, like, the fucking holograms show up and attack, that could definitely have some legs.
No,
I can definitely see, like, something to that. Yeah, 100%.
They need a Beat Saber version of the disc game.
Ricochet, yeah.
Ricochet.
Oh, yes.
Ricochet,
too. They need a Beat Saber version of just Half-Life, where you're just, like, fighting off head crabs.
Head crabs coming at you.
Yeah.
So what do we have? What it says probably in the title, if you're watching this or listening to it afterwards, is I think everybody's it's super present now. Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not like an underground thing. You're like, hey, do you know? It's like, yeah, the movie with Jim Carrey in it. And I'm like, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Keanu, Idris Elba, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
The cast in these movies are getting kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous. Not as ridiculous as what took place earlier this week. Sonic Unleashed, recompiled. A little bit of a teaser trailer I'm showing for the video versions. Dude, it's here. I did not know that, like, this thing, because, like, I went and checked my library. Like, when we get, source code, I'll talk more about that in a minute. For a game, first thing I go to Steam, then I go to GOG, and I'm like, okay, where do I get this? And I'm like, wait, this was never on PC. Ha! Because I got a bunch of Sonic games. I just assume it was, like, in one Sonic bundle that I bought over the years. Apparently, like, this lived life on PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and I believe there was also a Wii version as well.
Right.
Yeah, and the big innovation with this Sonic game was that it had, like, a God of War mode where you, like, become a big buff werehog.
Not Sonic.
I don't know. My whole with, like, chains and, like, Kratos shit. My problem was, like, what werehog is a dumb name. You could have gone, like, Dreadhog or like maybe Hellhog, but, like, that's not kid friendly. So, like, you gotta go Heckhog.
Heckhog. Sonic the Hedgehog. Damn it.
Yeah. Sonic the Heckhog.
Heckhog.
Yeah.
Dude, they created a tool set, dynamic. It basically what's a good way to explain how they did it? Because I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, the tool they released, because they came up with their own tooling here to turn the Xbox 360 into effectively C++.
Yes. It turns it from, like, a PowerPC machine code into C++ and HLSL, which then they have massaged,
right, converting the shaders over to
and which they further massaged into this version that you know and love that can, like, well, I mean, I wasn't able to get this running, but you had a better experience than me. But, like, part of the challenge is they're like, yeah, you need to legitimately extract a copy of Sonic Unleashed from your Xbox. So I have my Xbox. I need to go acquire a copy of Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah, right.
That part proved a little bit more challenging. Yeah,
dude. This they got a GitHub repo. This is all good. It is currently open source. 1.12 is already out, I think. There's a Linux Flatpak, and I'm like, I tried that. I got it up and running, and yeah, you do need, like, the original ISO and some other stuff. You know where to
you need eBay. The ISO and one of the patches as well.
You need at least one of the patches installed, the DLC, which would patch the game. So I tried the Flatpak. It ran, no problem, right out of the box. And you can install this on your Steam Deck, but god damn, dude, I watched somebody doing it on YouTube, and it is involved. I mean, it took him like 6 or 7 minutes to like move all this stuff, because a lot of it's like still very manual. And of course, it's x86 only right now because there's some assembly floating around in there. There is kind of people playing around because they want to get it to work on the Apple systems, the M series. So maybe we'll see some ARM love, quite possibly. And I probably have played like an hour of it. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I got it to build from source too, which is good. And I didn't RTFM. So I sit around and waited for like 10, 15 minutes to find out that it doesn't compile on ARM either, because I just had the Git repo. So I just farted it over to one of the systems. I was like, oh, sure, this would be neat. And it was like, boom, doesn't work. And I'm like, let's go check oh, right, doesn't work on ARM just yet. That is kind of thing, man.
The other thing as well, this one only works with the US and EU versions of the game. Japanese version, get fucked.
All right. Yeah, PAL versions. Get wrecked.
I know for a fact I have the Japanese PS3 version, so I'm like, well, I'm shit out of luck.
Well, and part of this too is like, you specifically the Xbox version, if you have like the game data on the PS3, won't work.
It's a very involved process to get this going. I'm sure somebody will simplify it. Don't download random stuff on the internet. I'm just saying, keep that in mind. I don't know, when did this game come out? Because it had to have been a product of its time. It runs like nobody's business, man. Let me explain to you, like, because, this is not going through an emulator. You're effectively running the game. Yeah. I'm playing the game. I got it full screen, and my 3060 in here on a Threadbooper is like, and I'm like, okay, I probably need to set, a frame. It's got a frame rate limiter. It does high frame rate. It worked right out of the box. SDL picked up with the Xbox 360 controller. And I'm just jamming, and I'm like, this looks really sharp. I realized this entire time I was running it at 4K, like just no problem whatsoever. And what I did is here's what I had to do. I had to bump the resolution scaling down because it was too sharp. It just looked too fucking crisp, man. I'm like, I needed to be a little more blurry. And I was able to make this, but
this was like 06, I want to think.
06, okay.
Yeah, I want to say like 06 or 07 is when it came out, because I know I was in BMQ, like my basic military qualification course, when the game came out.
Oh man, it has to be a product of its time, dude, because the camera in this game is mithril reinforced bullshit. It reminded me of Devil May Cry 4. Which, if you're familiar with Devil May Cry 1 and 2, it's fixed camera. The rules on the playing field. Devil May Cry 3, I think 3 is it, but Devil May Cry 4 had some rooms it's free cam, some rooms it's locked, and you can kind of like jerk left and right. That's how this is. Sometimes you get a free cam, sometimes it's not, and that camera will kill you quicker than any fucking enemy in this entire game. But I have put an hour into it, and I've kind of enjoyed it. I'm like, maybe I'm going to see if I can play around with this and finish a Sonic game, because last Sonic game you finished, mine was Sonic 2.
I don't think I've ever finished a Sonic game.
Really?
No.
Sonic Forces.
Yeah. I think part of it is like, I never had access to a Sonic game long enough to like try it.
Yes. Yeah. Like I played it on the Mega Drive, and like back then, of course you usually would beat most of your games. And
that's all you had. Right?
Yeah, like I had never played any of the 3D Sonic games until there was a Sonic bundle on Steam for like $1 with the backlog. And I like fucked around with a couple of those, and I fucked around with a couple of the new 2D versions, and I'm like, that's all right. And but yeah, this is interesting. Go try it out if you got a Xbox 360, and it tells you that buy this special drive and this special cable and all that, which may or may not be necessary, but that's up for you to
yes,
figure out. Jordan's going to tell us about not even an intrusive thought, man. It's just something that has crossed everybody's mind.
I think it's the thing that everyone does once they get that big wide mop. This is Mop Skater, and Yeah, it's what it says on the tin. You skate around on knockoff Tony Hawk Pro Skater levels, and you got them up. And I remember having one of these at Costco when I used to work there. And yeah, you would pretend to do kickflips and shit because it just looks like a giant skateboard. And then you get yelled at from your boss because you're like, you're having fun at work, and that's not allowed. But yeah, no, this is it is priced to sell. It is and it is pretty basic. Your goal here is to just sweep up the place, but you can do sick kickflips and shit on your broom, and that's kind of it. And I mean, what more could you want?
I don't know, man. Like, anybody who's pushed around that duster, dude, we absolutely know, like, that grind is real. Like, you just can't help yourself. It's natural. If I don't even think if you even knew what the concept of a skateboard is, you would be dancing and grinding on this scenery, maybe the occasional kick flip. And, like, it looks like what you said, man. This is LOL WTA. You know, you pie poopy is the developer.
UP poopy, I think.
Poopy. And yeah, it's like $6.99. It's like, you buy this as a meme. I don't want to say meme game, but it's a fucking meme game. Like,
you will get your 20 minutes of enjoyment out of it.
Right. You dig around and grin and be like, all right, I'll keep that around to like share with friends.
Yeah, it's going to be like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, how can you, like, this is every parent, like, you buy this for your kids, you know, it's like, yeah, make mopping fun again. Get them to clean their rooms.
I don't know, man. See, I bought, have you guys ever owned like a Swiffer?
Yes.
Okay. I've never attempted that with a Swiffer. I wonder if this is like a commercial product feel, like when I have like, cause like that was like always a shop broom, and I'm like,
yeah, no, the Swiffer is like very light aluminum. You don't quite get the same spin that you do with like a nice wooden handle.
No, because you have the nice weight with those big mops. So like you could do like all the little flips and stuff like that, and it would get some good momentum going. Oh yeah, it was a good time with those.
Well, talk about work games. Yeah.
Maybe you can clean up your Git repo instead.
Possibly.
Yes. Do you have problems with Git and submitting to Git?
You mean anytime I like do something more than clone? Maybe I can throw. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one. Because for the last what was it, 2 years that the guy said since he last did something on Git, he did his first submission with Devlands, which is a program that allows you. What was it based off of? What Pygame? He said it was based off of.
Yeah, it's a Pygame game that teaches you how to use Git. It's MineGit. Apparently, they actually wanted to call it Gitcraft, but apparently the Git product identity is pretty well protected. So Devlands it is, and even saves its game in a Git repo, which is
but when I was like first like scrolling down, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's wait. I thought this was like, all right.
No, we all want Git Doom. Let's be we've all installed Cube Doom on our Cube clusters because I just want to shoot my pods to restart them.
I mean, I was thinking I could probably get into this. Yeah, it's a little bit different than that, but hey, I mean, look at it like this. Like, Git is like something. If you're running Linux, you need to know how to do some shit in Git.
I think. Yeah. I think like in general, like publishing uses Git. Drafting and design also uses Git quite a bit. It's a pretty widely used tool even outside of software development, and it's not very well understood. There are a lot of like tooling in stuff like Eclipse or like your IDE of choice that will abstract a lot of the stuff away from you. GitHub and GitLab in and of itself, their web UIs abstract much of the stuff as well, but you still should know what it is or what is actually occurring here. And yeah, this game posits to teach this to you in a voxely Minecraft inspired adventure.
I mean, it does, man. It's done in Pygame, and you know, here's the thing: I was like looking up through this entire blog post. I'm like, where's the GitHub page, Jordan?
Well, turns out this is a piece of proprietary software. You can pre-order it for about $40.
Okay.
Which, like, I don't know. I feel like if you sat down and like followed a basic tutorial on the internet, you could become pretty proficient in Git. within like maybe a day or two. If you are someone who really benefits from a curriculum, or like you really got to trick yourself to learn stuff, I can see how this maybe would be an advantage. On their marketing, they're like, oh, development courses cost thousands of dollars and blah blah blah. This will teach you how to use Git for $40, and it's like, yes, but also the development courses don't also teach you how to use Git either. It's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the very I don't know if you would call it a classic, but it's very entertaining. The Oh My Git game, which is more of a card game, is more along these lines. So yeah, there you go. Hey, welcome to Linux Gamecast. This is where we talk about Git, the video game. I'm trying to think, is there anything like this? Because I know I learn better, like if I'm listening to something than I do if, or like watching something. Like you show me a documentary and like that just like burns into my head. Like even if it's dry, boring science, it doesn't even need to be like jazzed up. If it's information, audio visual is how I learn the best. But I don't know if I've ever played like an educational video game. I'm trying to think, man.
Well, it reminds me of like those ads that some people are showing for like boot.dev and whatnot, where again, like, or Duolingo, I think, also does like a similar thing with a little bit more stalkery bullshit. Now they're leaning into it, and I think like that has ruined the joke, but still, the whole like some people like need it to be gamified for whatever reason. Like I can, like for me, for in my learning style, I'm very much a sit down, read through the thing, and then attempt to apply the thing that I just read. But that's not going to be the case for a lot of people. I guess a lot of people, like a lot of people do need to hear like the audio visual version, which sucks for me as someone who doesn't want to have to watch through a 25-minute YouTube video to learn how to configure something. But part of why I appreciate interfacing Linux's stuff is it's brief.
It's brief, but that's also why I spend the time to like write the guide.
Yeah, copy paste.
Yeah. So you just blindly copy paste stuff. That
exactly
terrifies me. Not as much as like running bash scripts generated by Google AI though. I have a better relationship than that. What was the last thing you learned in a video game, Sandy?
I would say crosscode.
Crosscode?
Crosscode is kind of one that you do like a little bit of learning as you're playing. So, which is, it's good. Like, and they do it in such a way where it's like it's easy to get used to, and then you're practicing it all the time. Like you're getting that repetition with a lot of the level design.
What was that game like? I remember like Empty and somebody else was playing. It was the assembly based game.
Oh yeah, TRS 180.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's like there's neat stuff like there was that 10 to the C one where like you're on a spaceship and like in order to fly the spaceship you have to like program the CPU and stuff. I think like frameworks like this can work, but they're more of a supplemental tool and not a primary one.
Yeah, this comes across as like educational software more than like, where's my Steam achievements, right? Yeah.
They're tracked as a label in your Git repository.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. DOS. I grew up playing video games on DOS. I did. I had to make boot disk. It sucked. I don't know how people like have legitimate nostalgia for these days. They were bad. There were dark times. I didn't have a fucking sound card. I had a PC speaker that beeped at me.
They were young and they didn't have to deal with the bullshit of being an adult. That's why they have nostalgia.
I fucking guess, dude. One of the games that was out at the time was Abuse. Not a Boose. Not a Moose, but a Boose. And it had a problem. It ran at 15 FPS, which even back then, most of your side scrollers, they were still doing 60. That was just kind of a thing we did back then. Somebody got tired of dealing with that FPS lock and said, hey man, I'm going to fix that. So yeah, you think like, your 30 FPS is bad on like consoles forever? That ain't nothing compared to this, man. 1996, which was pretty old for a DOS game, even in 1996, man. But no, You can just run it at what the hell ever P with Abuse
That's cheating,
1986. No, it's not. There's an app image. You click on it, and it says,
no. Running it at high resolutions is cheating.
Okay. But I want really crisp, ginormous pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. This made me think, though. Did we even notice? We were just naive because I had an experience, not recently, but recent enough to where it still sticks in my head pretty sharp, was going back and playing Star Fox on an emulator, which there's not much to it. And then like researching and finding out the game struggled to like run at 14 FPS.
Super Nintendo Star Fox, you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you go and look at, any actual gameplay footage and you're like, that's atrocious. We thought it was amazing at the time. We
didn't know better.
Never fucking crossed our mind. We're like, this is the future. Look at this. It's great. It's like we're flying around in 3D.
Yeah.
I think part of that is like the sort of like the 0 to 60 thing of like frame rates, right? Where once upon a time, like we didn't really care about frame rate, and then it became a metric that people care about. So now it's the thing that we inspect.
And like I'm watching a video series right now of a young gentleman who's like going back and like he basically is rewriting the N64 engine for Mario 64. And he's gotten it up to 60 FPS, like by fixing stuff that they missed. And like I never knew that. I remember playing, Mario 64 and the N64, and I'm like, this is great. This is brilliant. We're just flying around. And like then you go back and realize, like, yeah, no, it is doing like 20.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. And I guess like the other thing too is like we were playing it on like old shitty TVs, and like I don't think that was like doing that any favors in terms of.
Well,
like,
I would say not just that, but like what they were trying to do at the time in terms of like the 3D camera work and just the whole evolution of 3D and like the hardware that they put it on and like the method is what really kind of like the hardware wasn't ready for that. So like, yeah, you as the end user, you don't realize like about frames per second and stuff like that. And, you're just like, holy cow, this is amazing.
Well, when did you start like really paying attention to frame rate? Like I genuinely didn't give a damn because we didn't have much in the way of tools on Linux. I just like, you could tell when it was running poorly. Obviously, you didn't need, assistance to be up on the screen and be like, hey, this is running like poo, by the way. But when like Steam Overlay became a thing and it put it up there, then I started kind of paying attention to it. But you can feel 60, right? You could feel 60 versus like 4. But then again, like if you get 40 FPS, as anybody with a Steam Deck can tell you, as long as your frame pacing is lined up, that's all right. You don't have a problem.
Oh yeah,
it's marginal. But going back to the resolution thing, apparently, according to the right up here on the GitHub page, if you play it at a resolution higher than 320 by 200, the game is designed to be like cropped, so you can get like access. You can see all the secret areas and enemies off screen that would normally spawn. So they're like, yeah, if you want difficulty modes, increase the resolution. There's your difficulty mode. Oh man. Also, apparently, I had no idea there was an AIX port of this, according to Wikipedia.
Why? Like, how do you it's like that must have been back in the day. Okay, back in the DOS ages before Linux, there was the AIX guy working in the fucking studio, and you're like, he's like, come on, man. Fucking AIX.
I saw that because I'm like, Abuse. The game doesn't ring a bell. I never played it, so I do a little bit of research on that. Launch platforms. It's like, Linux was like a couple years ago, and it's like AIX, like from the beginning. It's like, but why? Whose idea was that?
Okay, well, you see shit like that. You see shit that's on like fucking OS Warp. You're like, what? Or like another rare. Oh, SG Irix is a fucking super rare, like actual shipped product in a package. Right up there with like Solaris. Solaris, you occasionally get some stuff over there, but man, talk about thirsty times. Kind of like our bold new world of our GPUs. You know what, AMD? You did slightly better than NVIDIA. You were able to maintain stock for, I hear, minutes, possibly, if we're being generous.
Yeah. Everyone this was like, you got a new card? It's like, I just bought a 7800 XT. I'm not spending any more money on this shit.
A decade, son. Yeah.
Yeah. But you might be in a new hurry to buy a brand new GPU from Bolt Graphics. They have the
Bolt,
Zeus.
yeah, traditional Bolt GPU. Yeah, the name you can trust, reliable.
It's a Bolt Action GPU. It doesn't jam like one of those automatic GPUs.
Yeah. Give me a clip.
Yeah. Gotta manually eject the shells yourself. No, this is the Zeus, which is a video card that they are claiming can outperform a 5090 in path tracing and only path tracing. It is a RISC-V based GPU with upgradable memory. It has built-in fiber and Ethernet, which is kind of neat. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Knight's Corner. It's a bunch of chiplets running in parallel. It doesn't have shaders in the traditional sense. So it's emulating a lot of those things a la Knight's Corner, which was just a bunch of Celerons stapled together. And yeah, they're making some promising claims, although you're not going to be running Cyberpunk on this anytime soon. I also point they don't have much of a software stack here either. So a lot of these benchmarks are theoretical, although they are working on a path tracing engine called Glowstick. So make your jokes now.
I'm so fucking here for this, dude. Because they're just like, yeah, how about 2.25 terabytes of memory? I'm like, oh, okay. I'm trying to find some pictures of the card, man. Where's a really good blog? Come on. Oh shit. Yes. If this thing works with, all right.
Oh my God.
Now I really want one. Okay. I was going to fucking send him one. I'm like, hey man, I would like one for playing around with. Give me a big picture. Come on. Isn't this legally required to have a big, ginormous picture? Do I just got to go with this guy?
Yeah, they have on the announcement page, they had that slide that has
there we go. There we go. Okay.
That's a render though, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, man, I want to believe. Okay. What we're looking at, man, not only does it have SODIMMs, the laptop looking like fucking memory on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty dope, but it has a QSFP port, 400 gigabit fiber on one side. And then on the other side, it's got your standard RJ45, which is probably gigabit Ethernet. I didn't even look that up. And as Jordan touched on, all the benchmark digits are pre-silicon. So the simulation, I guess you would say. I'm excited for this, but as we were talking about in the pre-super shows, and man, if they released everything on this page on April 1st, I would have been like, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're saying that this is going to be 150 watts, dude. Yeah, 2x DDR5 SODIMM. So if you need to stack memory on something for some reason, RJ45, Gen 5 by 16 DisplayPort, HDMI 2.1B, only 2 display outs on it.
But this is the basic bitch version. The full version is just a server. It's just straight up a server.
I mean, you look at their software integrations that they say that they're working on. Blender's on there, a lot of familiar names: Unreal, Unity, Houdini's on there, Autodesk, of course. Yeah.
AutoCAD. Yeah.
Blender's the one that's more relevant to us, being the mainly the big 3D modeling software that's available open source on Linux. But yeah, no, it's I mean, you best be supporting Blender, otherwise no one's gonna use your shit.
The real-time path tracing, they're making some bold claims, and that's the reason I wanted to bring this thing up. They just came out of nowhere. I guess they were in stealth mode, and this just kind of dropped out of nowhere. So, bold graphics, man. I want to believe. I hope this is not another. Hey, remember that time we recovered 3DFX?
Yes. Sell some headphones, man.
Dude. And again, they're targeting, when they say gaming, they mean making the games, not necessarily playing the games, and film, TV production. So I hope that we get some of that, consumer type stuff kind of trickling down to us. And we're maybe because there's an underserved market. But then again, if the claims of this thing, and they want to come in and rock something, if they can start releasing because it's kind of a strange market. It used to be a workstation card. A workstation card was something aspirational. It was $1,000 video card. And there was a margin there, right? Nowadays, That's called a fucking MSRP on a goddamn gaming video GPU, man. So, Sandy, are you even at least a bit excited for like player number 4, possibly? Maybe
we'll see. This is definitely a wait and shoot.
There's that Power VR thing, right?
I thought you were like, oh, what is Matrox about to kick the back door in? Be like, what?
Yeah.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Don't still waiting for 3DFX to come back.
I'm like, Matrox, all you do is use Intel chips, and before that they were AMD. Shut up, get out of here.
Yeah.
No, ATI comes back from the grave.
Oh yes, yes.
That's going to be the first announcement on DIG.
ATI's back. Baby.
ATI's back. Radeon Roy's going to come back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe that won't flop.
I don't know, man. Like, I want somebody to explain to me like why the additional memory is there, because that seems like at first I just got like wicked excited, but I'm like, no way that's going to work because it'd be too slow. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason there. There has to be a reason there. Other than it's cool as shit. How about that? Is that a good reason?
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to push the bar forward and have like upgradable GPUs. I think that would be like a good move overall in terms of like, being able to not have to buy a new video card all the fucking time.
Wouldn't that be weird though, Ben? Like, can you imagine like a little latch on the side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The AMD hook. Mm-hmm. In the Intel ones, you still have to like punch the little holes through and flip them on that way.
See, like the only thing I worry about this is like they don't show any of the like cooling. This is just like the raw PCB, and I'm like, what's the catch? And the catch is going to be like, oh yeah, it requires an 8 wide, yeah, it's 8 width.
Just a direct pipe of like liquid hydrogen just pumped directly on top of it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, pretty wild. Samsung showed off some stuff at Mobile World Congress 2025. And I saw something that I'm like, well, Jordan, there's another thing you wished into existence.
Yes.
Yes, you did, man. Because we were joking around about like, it's like 3D, clamshell shit like that. And Jordan's like, new Steam Deck. You just
call me Cassandra, just shitty Cassandra.
There it is, man. The folding handheld concept called Flex Gaming. Which is bullshit because this thing has to be called Scooch or Squish because you got to name your product after the sound you make when you fold it in half. This, for the audio listeners, this is just
I got peanut butter in my Steam Deck.
Yeah, right? See, this is not too far off, man, because this is a Steam Deck. Think of it as a Steam Deck. You got a screen in the middle, but I mean, it's got analog sticks on the left and right, and it folds from the middle. How do they take care of that? Because you got those analog sticks sticking out. Well, there's holes in the top and bottom of each side, which I like to call dipping holes for my sauce. And those are going to get funky, man. You put a little mustard ketchup in one of those, left and right, maybe some barbecue, maybe possibly a bit of ranch. It'll be very difficult to clean those. It is. I think it's just going to be a absolutely hot mess. And then
are the buttons supposed to be there too? Like, because that's usually where like your ABXY is, and like maybe a D-pad or something.
It seems like it's missing that much. I don't know if anybody's got like better pictures of it than this. And
with the big no touchy, so like that thing's gonna crumble to dust the second you sneeze on it. Yeah. I don't know. Like I saw a couple of those foldable screen phones when I was going to go pick up this guy. I was gonna call it a Nexus 8, but it's a Pixel 8. I'm old. Give me a break. But yeah, the first thing I noticed was there was like a big black stripe along the folding bit because apparently that LCD just like fucking wore out. So. I don't know. It goes back to the original Game Boy, right? That shit was rugged. That was designed as a toy. The Nintendo expected that people were going to drop it. Some dude in like fucking the Gulf War got it mortared, and it still plays Tetris fine, right? Like, oh yeah, no, those are buttons in there. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. This I don't know. Like one little smack, and that's the goner.
Well, what do you feel about like knowing that this thing is like dead man walking as it is? Because it's only got so many folds before A, it's just going to become too much to not get out of your head, and B, it's just eventually going to break.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. My first thought was, oh, is this going to be the first Playtron device? And also, will it flop on arrival?
Oh, no, it'll fold. And it's Samsung, so they'll probably like try to charge $2,000 for it.
Oh, and like you know, people are going to try to like Matrix flip that thing open and be like,
okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
As you say
100%.
that, I'm like, I was like, I wouldn't mind a phone that I could flip out like that, and like that would be kind of dope. I'm not down.
They got to bring back the sliders, right? Like,
well, you see, that's what I want. Like, I want the ones that you can just open up like that, and like extend it, and like
I want Magic Scroll, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, 100% Magic Scroll
with a real display. I think something that has like never sold me. I'm like, this is like a common trope in Cyberpunk is the, you know, what do you call the display? The
augmented reality display.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or like the sand or whatever.
It's always that like, you know, 240p, dude. And I'm like, nah, we're not trading fucking 4K and 8K for 240p just because we can walk around shit. Like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna work like that. So I don't know, man.
You need at least 360p.
What handhelds do you have? I got the original Game Boy. That's the only one I got.
I have 2 DSs. I have 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Nintendo Switch, and I have the Game Boy Advance, OG Game Boy, and Steam Deck.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine. So I had Game Boy and Game Gear, and then the DS, but now I just have the Steam Deck.
It's kind of strange though. Like with the Steam Deck, yeah, you could just kind of, you know, you can even play your Nintendo games, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I did actually want to get one of those analog pockets because those look cool.
Are those as expensive as I think they are?
I think they are. That's
probably.
Yeah.
That's just like one of those things I've looked at, and I'm just like, I can't afford that.
I'm like, I do want this, but maybe not right now.
I'd be like handheld. Yeah. Nintendo did a good job, dude. I'm guessing all the Nintendo stuff was just childproof because yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I dropped the fuck out of that thing.
I never took care of that shit
when I got mad and stuff. Yeah, no, that and like 30 fucking years later, that shit still boots up. So like,
I wonder how many times you can drop a Steam Deck. Valve knows.
I've dropped mine once.
Depends on what, on who.
So it does that thing that laptops do, where it will like sabotage the external case to save the inside, and then you just gotta like squish it back together.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just kind of pops back in.
Okay.
I don't know. The Game Gear was pretty durable too. Like
the
when
Game
that came
Gear
out.
was like a block of aluminum, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was protected by the magnetic field from the 13 fucking double E's in the back of it.
Yeah, I know, right?
And the sheer mass of it kind of has a bit of an AT-2020 thing going on, where you could just like hit a man with it and they might die.
Those things. What was the one after that? That's a real thing, the Nomad, right?
Yes, the Nomad.
Yes,
because the Game Gear was basically a portable master system. Like
yes, and the Nomad was 16-bit.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh man, I don't know, dude. Like, I think I'm done with the hand. Like, I think see, I say that, and Nintendo is going to sell out of Switch 2s, dude.
Yeah.
in my fantasy world, yeah, we've all got the mobile phones, but people will use their mobile phones and still buy a Switch 2. Why? I don't know. They love Nintendo. Good news, everybody.
Physical buttons.
I guess, dude.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to crack that since the Engage, dude, and nobody's bit. They want that gaming phone. So Heroic Games Launcher is a thing. It's kind of like Lutris and the other game launchers, but this one is heroic. And there's a new version out. Skopper-Gaben.
I read that as Scopper Gaban because I'm like the Beast Raban from Dune.
Scopper Gaban.
Old Gaben. I don't know.
Old Gaben.
I don't know, man. This is kind of wild. 2 things I wanted to point out. Actually, 3 in here. Because we talked about Umu, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing Aggie's working on and making it like super easy. Just click play and get all that. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm just giving you a simple version of it. Anyway, that's on by default now. That's great to see. Big fan of that. And here's something I saw in here that I'm like, why is this not a feature in Steam? And maybe it is. I'm just too dumb to figure it out. The tabs now warn if cloud saves are not supported for like games. Because how many times have you like loaded up a game after you've uninstalled it and you're like, oh, I guess that didn't have cloud save, did it?
Yep.
All right. I guess we're never playing that again.
Sometimes it's like, hold on, do I still have easy access to the original computer I played this on?
Yep.
How fast can I just copy the save over? But like that conversation has happened less and less with cloud save, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing for our brothers and sisters on Team Green, DXVK Envy API is now the default.
Which it should have been at this point.
It's been enabled in Proton like by default for a long time. It took them a long time to get to that. So that's pretty dope. You know, I tried to let's look at some pretty pictures. So I know Heroic. Are there no pretty pictures on your GitHub page?
No.
Why?
No.
Why? Why?
Because screw you, that's why.
They're gonna.
Because they don't want to store blobs in their Git repo, and I respect that.
Oh, man. Here's some pretty pictures. You can go to heroicgameslauncher.com. It's kind of brilliant. I mean, it works with your Epic games, your GOG games, and I'm sure there's some more stuff in there. You can just, like, you know, put other games that you got laying around, manage your wine versions. And the reason I was playing around with it is because somebody has worked up a ARM build for it. Well, not a way, enable the option to build it for ARM.
Oh,
which,
very nice.
You know, this is an Electron app, so I watched a bunch of that stuff whiz by in the terminal. I'm like, holy fuck, I bet that gets interesting when something breaks. So a bit of NPM installing, and I got it to compile on Armbian, but unfortunately it doesn't log in with GOG. Something is broken. I got to...
Unfortunate, because like, yeah, this would be like your best way to like get something like a GOG game or like a Epic Game Store game running on something like your RADA or whatever if you want to like do some gaming on there.
Yeah, not have to worry about like Steam. And like it was like cool. This would be cool to like just I thought I was gonna be able to fuck around with some of my GOG titles, and like nah, I gotta report the bug because it's somebody on side team is trying to get it to work, and I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. I give it a build. And I've already got a build guide for it because there were some steps. They were like, oh, no, it should just build. I'm like, it don't just build. You got a couple of bonus hoops you got to go through. That's all right. It's all right. I got everything up and working. So, last bit of tonight is interesting.
Can I just say something, Ven? No. Just for 1 second? I just want to say something. Okay?
You're a monster.
Yes.
Right.
Fork Nintendo, okay?
All right.
Fork them in the butt.
All right. That's good. Okay, you take it away.
Call them Nintendo.
The latest DMCA for Ryukinx.
Ryukinx?
Ryukinx. My brain reads it as like the Nginx web server, so it's like Ryukinx, right? You know.
Yeah.
Why does your page why is this one so slow? Oh man, yeah, this was kind of wild, dude. The like to celebrate the anniversary of like wrecking Yuzu.
Yeah.
It's round 2, motherfuckers.
Yeah, not one, but fucking 2 rounds of like, if you had a fork, Ryukinx, the other Switch emulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Yuzu. Yeah. There it is, like a just go down.
Ryukinx 1. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they all freaking called the repository Ryukinx, and they are all right.
What about Totes not Ryukinx?
Totes not Ryukinx. They call it. You know, just bump all the letters by 1. No, but like, all right. I love the enthusiasm. I love the whole sticking it to Nintendo. Because they're just a big, they're the big bad, right? They decided, hey, people are really happy with the Switch 2 announcement. Time to use up the iota of goodwill that we built up over the past year. But you know, here's the deal: play shitty games, win shitty prizes when it comes to hosting your illegal emulator on public-facing GitHub servers, right? If you're gonna put that shit on GitHub or GitLab, it should be expected that this is going to be taken down. In the Reddit thread where that was circulating this story in, I think it was Our Gaming or Linux Underscore Gaming, there were a bunch of onion links to where you can actually acquire these things. And like, yeah, that's probably the best way to go about doing it. Maybe don't publicly comment these things. Sure. But this is the level that we need to operate at, because Nintendo is very hostile to people who have effectively eaten their lunch. Yeah.
But I know it's Microsoft now, but like, I think this is a absolute abuse of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, because like they determined that, see, this is where it gets sticky, because they didn't shut down Ryukinx. They bought dude out.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Like, they just showed up with like, we assume they bought him out because he was like, hey, everything's cool. I'm done with this project. It's gone away now.
No more questions. No more questions.
You can buy someone out with negative money, right? You can be like, you will owe us $7 million. And
see, the best part of me, like, I want to believe that Nintendo showed up and they're like, how about a job? Like Sega did with the Sonic people. And they're like, hey, you want to come work with us?
There's that one meme about like the poor kid who like can't afford a Nintendo Switch, and so he built one out of cardboard, and Nintendo was so touched that they sent him a cease and desist. This is the mentality that they are operating under. And like, part of it is like, the DMCA makes it so that like bypassing any sort of encryption is illegal, and that's what these guys need to do in order to actually like run the games in the emulator. So that's the angle they're going after now, I believe.
Yeah, it's a damn shame to see, and like they've done a really good job, because like I don't even want to fuck around with like showing any type of Switch emulation, like, because I'm working with like doing a gaming video right now for this ARM thing, and I'm like, nope, I don't need that fucking headache, man. Because Nintendo just used to come after people, man. There's so many Nintendoing. It's kind of unreal.
They go after people running official tournaments for their games. Like, it's the definition of like cutting off your nose to spite your face. But people keep coming back. They have that stranglehold on people's like childhood and nostalgia and shit. And they have really good marketing, because like they can do shit like that, and most people don't give a fuck. Yeah. They really don't. And the quality of the products continue to diminish over time, and no one's going to do anything about it.
Well, this is why you see like the rise of games like Temtem, Pal World, because like it's developers out there who are like, screw Nintendo, we're going to do our own thing and we're going to do it better, and like in the case of Pal World, like they actually like they got out of that situation. Not completely unscathed, but like they got out of that situation.
Interesting, because Sony showed up and were like, "Here's some money, put it on our console."
That was also funny, because like I think the U.S. Patent Court gave them like, okay, we'll give you one thing, we'll give you the one patent that they may have done. Everything else is completely fair game, and Nintendo's like, fuck, we can't fight this.
Oh,
we tried.
Kind of.
And
wild.
Nintendo will try to fight everything. That's
that's Nintendo shakedown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're like, who's going to deal with that fucking headache? Nintendo shows up. You're like, all right, fuck. Which is a gross abuse again of the DMCA. But we'll see. I'd love to see like the EFF take one of these cases up and like actually take this shit to court. Like, that's the dangerous thing, though, isn't it? I don't know.
But I think like. I know part of like the Power World thing was like Nintendo was definitely trying to intimidate these guys. They don't want the courts to set a precedent, because it could backfire, right? They would rather be able to apply their pressure financially as opposed to legally, because that's more reliable for them.
There we go. How's like reverse engineering in Canada? Is that covered the same way as it is in the States? Because I know in Europe it's fucking dodgy depending on where you're at.
Yeah, and I know that like Canada agreed to a lot of like the DMCA provisions just as like a result of NAFTA and stuff like that.
Right.
So we observe a lot of like the U.S. Where we respect a lot of the U.S. copyright law here, although maybe we shouldn't. But
I agree.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like I said, the big thing here is I think originally what Nintendo was going after was like the key extraction stuff was like bypassing their encryption shit, and that the DMCA specifically prohibits that.
Right.
It's what John Deere was doing with their tractors, right? Where like, you can't like get maintenance information. And that's why farmers were like loading up cracked Ukrainian John Deere firmware on their American tractors so that they could actually fix it. Like.
Well, and that was the other reason why Steel became, because Steel started doing tractors and stuff like that, and they wanted to be the better alternative to John Deere because John Deere had that stranglehold on the farming industry, which was,
Moral of the story, Porsche, Lamborghini, come back. We need tractors.
Lincoln Continental coming back?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I want like a fucking stretch tractor. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I want the tractor with the hydraulics so that.
Well, see, now I'm thinking like, was there ever a tractor that was a transformer? I'm like, no, but there was probably a GoBot.
I don't know, man. There were a lot of Transformers.
Yeah, they kind of went mad with that shit.
I would not take that bet.
That would have to. I don't know. Depending what like the fucking ratio was. All right. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want to scream in our direction? You can do that. Head over to linuxgamecast.com. Yes, we want to hear from all of the tractors of the audience. Chugga, chugga, chugga. Brr. And we got a contact button. Smash that nonsense. If you want to come on the show, crowdfunding campaign, you're working on something. Hey, we'd love to have you on. Audio, video questions. Take that over to my site, Interfacing Linux, and throw that there. But if you want to send an email, no reply at Linux Gamecast, which we do check. Easiest way to get a hold to us, drop us a comment under the video on YouTube. Or if you're one of our beautiful patrons, you can do that there because we got a special version just for you. No ads. So higher special quality. Oh, it is very special. It looks so good. You don't realize how bad YouTube videos, you just accept it until you just start like uploading like the actual video and you're like, yeah, they still chew the hell out of it. But, you know, I'm it terrifies me when I see people with their show like up on their like big screen TV. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? No, you don't want to see that, man. You put this on like your mobile tablet.
Well, it's like, why? I would assume people are listening to this in the background while doing stuff. Like if you got like LGC front and center on like the big screen, like that just seems weird to me. That's not how I consume podcasts at all.
No, so. Like even like live stream or like Twitch or like you know what? It makes sense if like your Twitch app is on your fucking TV and you're like, that's the only place I'm logged into Twitch and that's how I watch stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Yeah, for me, it's always a second screen, third screen, something like that. But if that's how you want to get this, if you can handle the horror, that is us.
if you are ready for this jelly.
Yeah. Dude.
I like even on the Dreamcast 2 upstairs, like I have the Twitch app set up for the Steam Big Picture mode and I have like the show set up, and even on YouTube, like the YouTube app I have set up.
Well, when I think about Steam Big Picture, my first thought is, when was the last time I accidentally clicked on that button? It's been a minute. I just gotta take a look at Big Picture. I'm like, yeah, all right. Oh, sometimes I will. Oh, they've disabled that, right? There was an option to disable
the middle button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other thing too is if you use the Steam Deck at all, you're using the picture mode. So
yeah, This is true. Also, GameScope cannot get that shit to compile on ARM. Damn shame.
That is a damn shame.
What's not a damn shame is each and every one of you making this show possible, loud, live, independent, commercial free. You want to help us out with that? Shenanigan financing over on Linux Gamecast. We got a support tab. Hey, as I said, you get that video version. We got live and uncut versions for our patrons. You get access to our Discord, a couple other things. We also got LibrePay, PayPal, Magic Internet Money, Wishlist, merchandise, Humble affiliate links, which I don't even think they work anymore. I think EA'd that shit up.
I could see that.
No, all of the money goes to us.
Yeah.
We can maybe shoot an email to the Command and Conquer team. Maybe they can do something about it.
Right?
They seem to be cool.
There's that one guy just out of the entire corporation of 40,000 people. It's like James. Fighting the good fight, man.
James is the lifer who they can't fire because he knows where all the bodies are buried.
Right. He's got shit on the founders. They're like, you can't get rid of them. Why? You can.
Yeah, every big enough workplace has that one guy who's like walking around in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and flip flops with like unkempt beard and long hair. It's like, who the fuck is that guy? It's like, oh, he's the senior dev. He's been here forever.
Yeah, don't fuck with him. He'll bite your fingers off. And if you want to come hop in our Discord, if you're a Twitch sub, YouTube sub, Patreon, I think that's it. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, LibrePay.
We got YouTube members yet? Is that on?
I fucking enabled it. I did. Because you know what? YouTube was like, hey, you want to enable membership? And I'm like, no. So I didn't for years. And I have no idea if it works. So if you click it and it works, be like, hey, it worked. And then you can like cancel it. And it'll be cool. We can still be friends. So it's there. And there's a very roundabout way of manually contacting me if you're on LibrePay. And I will manually set up access. See how I love saying that? Yeah, it's a great experience. So yeah, we'll take care of you. No, I love you, each and every one of you. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, we need to, do I got some outro music?
Hey.
I hope so. Holy shit, how did we get an hour out of this week? All right, fuck it.
Well, okay.
So we talked a lot about Underworld.
What, as is tradition, man. As is tradition. Thank you for that Prime Norse Ranger. Also for Basil, 62-month resub as well. 30 months for Norse Ranger. But we get all the things out of there. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm on all the social medias. You can just find me anywhere. If you want to talk to me, probably the best place is Interfacing Linux. Just reply me in the forums. We'll take whatever you got going on, because it's probably a technical question. Nobody ever shows up and says things like, Vin, how was your day? I'd fall on the fucking floor. Somebody asked me, they're like, what are you doing?
Everyone, register for an account on the Interfacing Linux forum.
Do it.
Just open up a thread. It's like, how's your day going?
Unless you're in Singapore, because you're in that mode right now. Singapore, fuck you.
Yeah.
Been hammering on my site, man.
I'm Jordan. I am that secret tractor transformer. I'm going to turn into, I don't know, a forklift later. Follow me on Blue Sky at Frojo at bsky.app or Frojo at mass.linuxgamecast.com. See what other crazy shapes I'll turn into next.
And I am the transmogrifizer known as Sandy Martin. You can find me on the only social media that I have, which is Mastodon, at Ultimore, at mass.linuxgamecast.com.
Also, go check out these fools. You guys still doing the...
Yeah, we're still
yes,
at it.
The Thursday night
I saw
fun
empty.
pit.
I guess I didn't even. I was busy on Thursday.
Yep.
You guys having a good time with it?
Yeah, no. You asked earlier what was the last thing I learned from a video game is that picking up a man and throwing him at another man is
awesome.
great.
Good,
It's
wholesome
wonderful.
fucking entertainment every Thursday at 7:30 until that nonsense implodes. It's all on our Uncut channel. Come watch Weekly Daily. We do a bunch of shit, man. Like I said, don't miss out. All right, everybody, get out there. Have a great rest of your week. But most importantly, you know it. Die the fire. Random generic noodling.
Noodle.
I couldn't do that shit right now if my life depended on it. I don't think I could run a fucking scale that quick. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe like 3 fucking... Like, I could fucking hammer that, but I couldn't actually run a scale.
5 dudes.